Nation of Fit in 10. Welcome to day 38. And if you haven't already seen by now, the Calendly link is up for you to book your fourth check-in. That's right. Well, technically it's our third, but in terms of all the Zoom calls that we've had together, personal Zoom calls, this is going to be our fourth. And that's happening this Friday and Saturday. So make sure you book it. www.calendly.com/fit10. Same link as always. All right, more feedback here. Let's get into it. Name something specific you need help with. Navigating friends and family while trying to maintain a balanced eating regime, more specifically for when the program is over. I find it very difficult to maintain good eating habits long term, particularly when I don't feel well and feel a little lost in the wilderness. I have definitely experienced the social pressure to eat big meals and go for drinks as a means to bond with others, which is something I do very much enjoy. However, it puts me in a slippery slope to do this frequently. You have probably gone through this many times, but what are some tips for maintaining fitness, progress, and socializing with food on the weekends? Yeah, ultimately we have to set a boundary. You have to set a boundary for yourself. There has to be a limitation on this. So there's a couple things I'll say on this. Number one, allow yourself to do this, okay, on a somewhat regular basis. My suggestion, once per week. Now you might say, well, I want to go with my friends, whatever, 3 or 4 times a week, and I want to indulge in this. Well, in that case, I'll talk about that in a second. But if you can do this, set yourself up so that you're, quote, really good for the entire week, or for basically, the entire week, with the exception of that one night that you'll give yourself every single week. So that every single, whatever it is, let's say Saturday night, you get to go out and, have some drinks and eat whatever you want and give yourself a dessert, etc., and just not even think about it. I think that's fine. If you're looking to do this multiple times per week and you follow the rule that I gave you right now, except the fact that you do it multiple times per week, that is, you indulge, pretty exuberantly, I guess we'll say, then you're gonna deal with the consequences of that. So if you want to go out and eat with your friends multiple times a week, you can do that, but you're going to have to choose wisely with the foods that you pick. All right. So, coming back to some of my old adage, which is, if you're going to go out, choose a basic meal, one that's got a good source of protein and a clean source of carbohydrates. And that's what you're going to do. And you're not going to drink. And, you're not going to drink alcohol, obviously, is what I mean. And you're not going to really partake in the desserts. Okay. I could say to you, go and do that and maybe indulge a little bit, but I don't think that's going to work for you. My thought on this, and this is just the way that I deal with it, is you just have to set hard boundaries. Hard boundaries, but that in the future there is something coming up on a somewhat regular basis. You're going to get a reward for your, quote, good behavior, essentially. Okay? And then you can get away with that. But it's when you do it frequently enough, that's when you're going to deal with the consequences, and you're not going to like the consequences. So, again, 1 free meal per week, do whatever you want, enjoy it, don't really hold back. I wouldn't go absolutely bonkers, but, enjoy a good meal, have dessert, and have some drinks. And just try to be good the rest of the week. Okay? Again, if you're going out to restaurants on a regular basis, you've got to choose wisely with the food, and you can't let yourself go overboard. Okay, now when it comes to exercise, same thing. You've got to set yourself up with a certain, let's call it a certain minimum that you're going to do. So, in the sake of, it doesn't have to be this, but I'm just going to use it. You know, you're going to do 3 cardiovascular sessions, half an hour sessions, and maybe give yourself some laxity with this in terms of the intensity. So maybe one day, you know, you're going to walk, and then one day you're going to jog, and then one day you're going to, I don't know, maybe I'll say swim, even though swimming's not the best activity in terms of getting your heart rate up. Although we could consider it towards exercise, most certainly. It's just not good for getting your heart rate up. And you know what? You get to throw a 4th day in there and whatever. You know, do a spin class or something. You've got to set yourself up again with these minimums that you're going to do, and you're going to, you know, you think of these as rules that you have to abide by. Because if you're very vague with things, if you just say, well, you know what, I'm going to keep exercising and I'm going to eat well, but you don't have any particular targets to hit per week, then it's not going to happen. So you've got to set yourself up with targets, right? So again, let's say three types of cardiovascular work with, you know, a range of intensity. So we don't necessarily have to, let's say, pinpoint a specific heart rate, but know that, okay, I'm going to do whatever 3 30 to 60 minute sessions per week of cardio, some version of that. I'm going to do, you know, 3 resistance-based workouts per week. Every week I'm going to do this. And I'm going to allow myself, I'm going to be really good with my diet. I'm going to plan my food for the week, and I'm going to give myself one night out with my friends where I drink and eat and do whatever I want. But ultimately, we've got to set ourselves up with rules. You have to have these rules. You have to have these boundaries. Or else, like you mentioned here, a slippery slope, right? It's a slippery slope. But if you have hard rules, you know, that doesn't necessarily mean you won't make errors, but at least you can look back and be like, okay, no, did I break the rule this week? Yeah, I did. You know, I didn't get in my exercise, or I went out with my friends twice and I wasn't, you know, that's not in my plan. So, you know, ultimately everything is a choice, and then we have to deal with those consequences, good or bad, depending on the choices we make. So again, you've got to set yourself up with hard rules. That's what you have to do. Hard rules, okay? Okay, message of the day. And this is basically, this kind of reiterates what I mentioned yesterday, actually in the beginning of the video, in different words. And the message goes like so: success is not final. Failure is not fatal. But it's the courage to continue that counts, right? We've got to just continue moving on. And as the previous person mentioned, they had a, they wrote me and they had mentioned that they didn't have, I guess there was a day that was just basically a write-off. We've just got to move forward, okay? We can consider that whatever we want. We certainly can't consider that success, whatever. Put it behind and move forward, right? Again, it's all about the amount of steps forward versus the amount of steps backwards. And if we can keep getting those steps forward, we're going to progress, okay? Rather than focusing on the fact that, you know what, I wasn't perfect yesterday, or I was far from perfect, and I really messed up. I might as well just go the whole week and blow it. Nope. You just got to put your foot down, start the next day, and give yourself, you know, that new opportunity, right? Every day is a new opportunity. Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, for the love of God, give some gratitude, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.